Good morning, everybody. It is a fabulous Friday morning here in Montrose, and I get to sit next to one of my favorite people in all of Montrose, Mr. Ross Turner. We're going to have some fun this morning.
Yes, we're going to talk about Rotary.
There we go. We're going to talk about Rotary and a big anniversary coming up. But before we get to that, I want to talk about some other upcoming events. Is that okay with you?
That's fine.
Okay. So we have coming up this weekend the Valley Symphony Association, which I still think it's pretty awesome that a community of our size has its own symphony. It's amazing. So Fantastic Fantasia is coming Saturday and Sunday. Saturday at 7:30 and Sunday at 3 o'clock. You can still get tickets to both of those concerts. And then on the 28th, I know you like to, network and hang out with people, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Turner Automotive is a member of the Greater Montrose Chamber of Commerce. So on the 28th, Business After Hours, guess where it's happening this month, Ross?
Here?
No, wouldn't that be awesome?
Well, that was my guess.
Okay. It's happening at Alpine Bank. So you can see the newly renovated Alpine Bank, get cocktails, hors d'oeuvres, and network with some of the most amazing people in Montrose. And then on November 5th and 6th, the Holiday Craft Bazaar is happening at the Friendship Hall. So if you want to do some early holiday shopping, get some Christmas gifts, that is the place to be. That's going to be at Friendship Hall on Friday the 5th and Saturday the 6th. But on the 6th, there is also another pretty big event. Someone's turning 100.
The Montrose Rotary Club is turning 100 years. 100 years of service to our community and to the world, but it's our local club that's turning 100.
It's amazing. So that is happening at the big event center. It is good. We're going to talk more about that, but put it on your calendars now, November 6th, at the Montrose Event Center, and then you're going to hear more when we come back from commercial break. But before we take a commercial break, guess what? We have some amazing sponsors who have just supported and underwritten Montrose Matters. So Elevate Fiber, shout out to you, Alpine Bank, River Valley Family Health Centers, and the Real Estate Store. This show could not be brought to you each week without these amazing sponsors. So we'll be right back.
Employees, and we were in a double wide trailer with 4 exam rooms. So that's where we started, behind an elementary school, really focused on taking care of those children. It was a school-based clinic prior to us becoming an FQHC. But very quickly, we realized the community needed a lot more support, a lot more access to healthcare. So in the last 8 years, we've grown to 3 different sites. We have 104 employees now, and we're taking care of about 6,600 unique patients a year.
You're proud to call Colorado home. So are we. Since 1973, we've been giving back to the communities where we live, work, and play across our great state. And we're here to stay. If you're looking for an independent, locally managed community bank, where the employees are also the owners, we would like to be your bank. We're Alpine Bank.
Okay, welcome back. Ross, oh my goodness, do you know that I have literally been looking forward to this for some time now. You are one of my favorite people in Montrose.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm going to, you know what, I'm just going to embarrass Ross. So because we're going to be talking about Rotary here in a second, and 100 years of Rotary. When I moved here 5 years ago, I received an email from one of the owners of the car dealership who said, let's have lunch. And that was you. And lunch was a Tuesday. That was the 5th Tuesday of the month. So there was no Rotary that Tuesday, but you didn't know that. You were inviting me to Rotary, and we get there and there's no one there. And so we ended up having lunch downstairs at Remington's and just getting to know, you helped me get to know Montrose and all the players here. And that is one of my fondest memories of my first month in Montrose.
Well, it was very fortuitous because in the end, we recruited this girl to be a Rotarian. And she ended up being president of our club several years ago. She's a very committed Rotarian, and we're very appreciative of the work you've done for the club and in the community.
Well, Thank you, Ross. See, my goal was to embarrass him, but he turns it around. You're that good. So let's talk about Rotary in general. This is your second term as president of the Montrose Rotary Club.
Yes, I was president 27 years ago. I was much younger.
They pull you back in. It's like the Godfather.
I didn't have gray hair
right?
that time. But it's an organization. It's an international organization. It's the oldest and largest service club in the world. There are Rotary clubs in more countries than are represented in the United Nations.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so it's all over the world. It's made up of community leaders, and one of the powers of Rotary is that you have those community leaders. So when we do international projects like try to eliminate polio by vaccinating all the young people in the world, you've got volunteers in every community where there's a Rotary club, and when we send the vaccines out and get those kids vaccinated, and we've essentially eliminated polio from the world today.
That is amazing that polio is eradicated mainly through these local leaders all around the world coming together for a common cause.
Yeah, and so having a Rotary club in every community is an important thing, and you draw that leadership together, and you work together, and you make the world better in your own community and internationally. And we can talk about all the things that we've done in 100 years in Montrose. We're very excited. We're going to highlight those things on November 6th, as you said, at our 100-year banquet, and we want to invite people to come, especially if they're interested in serving in Montrose and looking for a venue that they can do that. They can come see what we do and come join us at Rotary and be part of the community.
Yes. And so, Drew, put up the slide for the event here. We're going to just leave that up for a few seconds, and we'll chat through the last 100 years. So if I'm correct, I believe Montrose is, the city of Montrose is 130 years, something like that. Something like that, close to that. Wow, look at this is a great invitation. So when we come out to celebrate 100 years, it's a centenary jubilee, you're going to have dinner, guest speaker, we'll talk about her in a second, but a historic timeline display of the last 100 years, some dancing, classic cars for every decade, and silent auctions. But it's going to be a good time, right? That's the goal.
We're going to have a celebration. We're going to be celebrating the work that Rotarians have done, but we're also going to be being serious that evening, because we're going to be raising money for Habitat for Humanity that evening.
Okay.
And we can talk about that.
Because that's a serious thing,
Well, it is a serious thing. We're working at that evening, the same night that we're celebrating.
Okay.
We're working to do service in our community.
And you know what, Ross, let's talk about that, because some of these service projects, obviously I've only been here 5 years. Rotary has turned 100 this year. But there are some huge projects that took place in Montrose that local Rotarians had a hand in. I mean, some of these could not or would not have taken place. One of them was in 1944. 1944. New high school was built in Montrose, and Rotary had a hand in that.
Yeah. So Rotary doesn't do everything, but Rotary provides a lot of leadership. And so Rotarians were instrumental in acquiring the property from the Townsend family and making the plan. And so where our kids are going, where I graduated and my kids graduated, Rotarians were instrumental in making that plan. The Montrose Pavilion was the result of Rotarians coming together and saying, we need a convention facility, we need a seniors facility, we need a venue for performing arts, and how can we make all those things happen in our community? Rotarians brought the different groups together and sat down with the city and made a plan and raised money, private funds, to help get that project started, and now we have a beautiful facility that we've been enjoying now for 30 some years.
Gosh, and it's phenomenal to hear those stories. We were just talking about events a few minutes ago, and our symphony, they play there at the pavilion. And so without the pavilion and Rotary's hand and leadership in that, who knows where our symphony would be playing?
Well, and even when the Denver Symphony comes to Western Colorado, that's their preferred venue to play, because the acoustics are so good and it's such a nice facility. So well, and of course we can start to talk about outdoor venues also.
Yes, please talk about that, because that's exciting. One of the newest projects.
Yes. So the Montrose Rotary Amphitheater just opened in Cerise Park. That was the dream of one in particular Rotarian for many, many years.
Who is it? Come on, can we call him out?
Dr. Chamberlain. He dreamed of having a band shell, initially in Rotary Park, but a place where the community could gather and enjoy music outdoors. And he would, every time we said, "What's the next project?" he'd raise his hand and say, "We need a band shell." And finally, here several years ago, we said, "Yeah, let's work on that."
Right.
And so between our noon club and people involved in the morning club, we raised over $180,000 in private funds to jumpstart that project. Of course, the city took it over and built it at Cerise Park. It's a fabulous venue. It's going to be a real, not improvement, but it's going to be a real gem for our community and an opportunity for us to enjoy music outdoors and with a very professional setup there. So it's, those are the kinds of things that Rotarians get moving on and get started. And we can sit here and list project after project after project where Rotary took the lead, raised private funds, got people organized, and led the community forward.
But and we don't obviously want to go through that list because it's huge after 100 years. But bringing up some of these signature projects is important for someone to understand. Like I said, I'm new here. I've been here 5 years, to understand the magnitude, the impact that Rotary has made on this community over the last 100 years. I mean, so when we are inviting people to the event of the century, which I love that play on words. Was that your idea?
No. Not my idea.
But when we're inviting people to the event of the century, it truly is, when you look at the timeline and of everything that took place, that Rotary had a hand in. One of the ones I know that we're going to talk about at the event is one of the, arguably the most impactful, is the Community Foundation.
Yes. Well, and so some things in the community have the Rotary name on them, like the Rotary Amphitheater. Right. Other things that have Rotary's fingerprints all over it no longer have the Rotary name on it. But initially, the Community Foundation was initially named the Montrose Rotary Youth Foundation.
Oh, okay.
And it was started by a group of Rotarians, Cliff Baldridge among them. I think he was the person who said, "I'm sick and tired of reading in the paper, in the obituaries, please send a donation to the Heart Institute or the National Cancer Institute." He says, "We need some place in our own community to ask people to send a donation." And so his vision was a community foundation, again, originally called the Montrose Rotary Youth Foundation. Okay. And that started out very humbly. I wasn't one of the people who started it, but I was able to sit on that board in about its second or third year.
Oh, okay. So,
and the total corpus at the time was about $3,000. But Cliff Baldridge had bequested $100,000 at his death would go into that foundation. So we knew at that time it was going to be something very significant. Wow. And of course it's grown into a very major thing in our community, and they give thousands of dollars out in donations to different groups every single year. That was the brainchild of Rotarians, and they were the ones who started it. It's been handed off to a very excellent board, and of course Sarah Plumoff, the director at the foundation, amazing. And she is a Rotarian.
Yes, she is. So, now this is going to get fun, because when you said there are projects such as that don't have the Rotary name but have the fingerprints of Rotary on there, I want to talk about fingers, because there is something else that had the fingerprints on Rotary, of Rotary several years ago, and I'm saying fingers for a reason. This is... My understanding is the 4th of July fireworks were started by Rotarians.
Yes. And so for years and years and years, one of our major projects was shooting the fireworks at the Montrose High School. I think the year that I was in charge, we set the opponent bleachers on fire. had to bring the lights up and get the fire truck over. But yeah, those were exciting years when we were lighting them and they were going up, and we're not doing that ourselves anymore.
And it's funny. Emily Snyder would tell me, she goes, "I'm surprised any of us have fingers left."
Yes.
After those years.
Well, I think there were some ball caps blown off.
So Rotarians have fun, and they're not afraid to get in there and get dirty and lose a finger.
Well, right. We're all still got all of our fingers, but we had a lot of fun with that. And there's lots of fundraising, but there's also lots of hands-on kind of work.
Right.
Some of the things that we're doing annually are putting new shoes on needy kids at back to school time every year.
It's one of my favorite projects, shopping with these families and seeing these kids' faces light up when they get 2 new pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
And they need, and of course they probably need new shoes by Halloween again the same year.
I know. I have an 8-year-old, so
you know that story.
I do.
But some of the other things we do is the Rotary Club puts a dictionary in the hands of every 3rd grader in our community. And the teachers love that. They're teaching tools. The kids love it. We have Students of the Week, so we invite the outstanding seniors to come and be honored at our meetings throughout the school year. And invariably, when we're talking about the dictionary program, the student will say, "Oh, I still have my dictionary from when I was a 3rd grader."
Yes.
Which is fun. We do a fishing derby with the kids in the spring. We ring bells for Salvation Army. So we partner with other groups trying to make the community better. So, and we've got a big partnership coming up that we can talk about too, if you'd like to.
I do. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to talk specifically about how Rotary is going to kick off the next 100 years, the legacy that Rotary would like to leave, and who will be the beneficiary of said legacy. And then we'll just talk more about the event itself, make sure you know how to get tickets, but we'll be right back.
At the Real Estate Store, we're a group of real estate professionals who share all forms of property brokering in an innovative way. Our expertise and experience makes us the best choice for buyers and sellers. Our brokers are ready to assist you, either in person or virtually. Come visit us in historic downtown Montrose and experience for yourself the difference of our personal, professional property brokers.
Believe it, just like Gigfoot, zero-lag gaming does exist. The real myth now? Slow internet made you lose. So step up your game with Elevate Internet today.
Oh, you caught me eating cheese balls. Somebody finally brought cheese balls. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ross, around here, cheese balls is like the staple at 9 o'clock in the morning. So you had to eat the cheese balls.
The breakfast of champions.
Yes, it is. All right. How does a 100-year service organization leave a legacy? What do they do?
Well, so as we finish the amphitheater project, the club's thinking about what should we be doing next? And some of the members said, well, we need to do something where we work side by side, where we're out in the community doing something. And so as we talked about that, Habitat for Humanity seemed like a natural partner for us to do things. As a matter of fact, can I read a quote here I brought?
Does he not know he's Ross Turner? He can do whatever he wants on our show.
So this is a quote from the Rotary General Secretary, John Huco, and he said, "Habitat's aim to bring people together to build homes, communities, and hope aligns perfectly with Rotary's commitment to make positive, lasting changes in communities around the world. With Habitat's expertise and the power of Rotary's volunteer network, we will help build the foundation for stronger communities." And I think everybody who's living in Montrose right now understands that affordable housing is a real issue.
Yes, it is.
And, especially for some people at the lower economic levels, it's a real issue. And Habitat helps people help themselves. They put sweat equity in, and they pay the mortgage, but Habitat helps people get into a home and start to live that American dream. And so the Montrose Rotary Club has made a commitment, and there's with Habitat to help raise money and to help build a project. It will be a I don't know how you say it, quadplex, or four homes in town here in Montrose. And that project will probably begin, it's in the planning stages and the permitting stages. It will probably begin about a year from now. But our club has made it a point that we're going to raise money for this project and present that money at our 100-year banquet.
Fantastic.
And at this point, we have over $70,000 raised to go towards that project. We're really excited about that. Erica Madison, the director at Habitat, is very excited. And did I mention Erica is a Rotarian?
Wait. Everyone is a Rotarian, or everyone should be, right?
Unfortunately, not everyone is, but there's plenty of room. And again, if you want to be, this is part of what we're trying to accomplish with the banquet, is to showcase what Rotary has done in the community and the leadership that Rotarians have provided, and to invite people to come and join us in doing service in our community.
Right.
Come help us raise money for Habitat and help us build Habitat homes next year. Help us put shoes on kids and deliver dictionaries and all those kinds of things. And it's a great opportunity for us to celebrate. When you look back over 100 years, when you look at the people who were founding and were the early presidents and leaders in Rotary 100 years ago, their names like Hartman and Townsend, names that you still see in this community. I think 3 generations of Hartmans have been Rotarians in our community. Yes. So it's, the names that you see on the streets and around are the people who helped get it started, and we're trying to carry on that legacy, and that's really an important thing. That's so many service clubs through the pandemic and just over the last few years have not been able to thrive and keep going. And Rotary has made a real intentional effort at bringing young leaders in, like yourself, like Erica, to hang out with us old geezers.
Oh, you're fun.
But to get get the vision and say how do I mean, people come here because it's a nice community.
Right.
It's a nice community because people get involved and volunteer, and there's lots of places to volunteer, but Rotary is a great place to volunteer.
Exactly. No, I would agree. And so one of the other legacies that Rotary, the Montrose Rotary Club, is leaving is another Rotary Club. You want to talk about that?
Well, yes. So our club meets Tuesdays at noon at the Bridges, and anybody who's interested is welcome to come visit us any Tuesday at noon at the Bridges. But there were some Rotarians who couldn't meet at noon, and so they wanted to have a different meeting time, and they started meeting Thursday mornings, and that group kind of grew and grew and grew to the point where they got their own charter, and it's so we've kind of birthed another Rotary Club, and they're active doing service in our community. They have an active group leading kids at the high school in community leadership and service. They're doing other things. We work together, like on the amphitheater project.
Right, that was a joint project.
That was a joint project. And many of the members in that club were noon Rotarians, but for whatever reason, it just worked better for them to be involved there. So yes, we've got lots of Rotarians doing lots of things in our community. We're very proud of that. We want to keep it going for another 100 years so that Montrose will continue to be the wonderful place to live that it is.
I love it. So Ross, if people wanted to donate to the Jubilee to help the Habitat housing, we can still take those donations?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So if you reach out to Ross Turner or contact Our Town Matters, we will help you decide where you want to put those funds. But we're about 30. The goal was to be able to donate 100,000 to.
We're still raising money. You'll want to make your check directly to Habitat for Humanity,
Correct, right?
Because there are tax benefits to doing that. So if you want to do that, don't make the check out to the Rotary Club. Make it directly to Habitat for Humanity, and get it in one of our hands, and we will get it turned in and celebrate the moving towards our goal. So
Exactly. Okay, I am looking forward to this event on November 6th. You can still get tickets at events.ourtownmatters.net or call 970-765-0913. There is an international speaker coming by the name of Hillary Nelson.
yes, we're very excited. One of our members, Kelvin Kent, he's a very interesting guy. He's done all kinds of things all over the world, some of which was climbing on several Everest ascents. And so he's very interested in mountain climbing and adventuring. And he has this friend, Hillary Nelson, who is internationally known. She was, I believe, National Geographic's Female Adventurer of the Year several years ago. She's currently in Nepal on a mountain climbing and skiing adventure. I don't know all the details, but I'm sure we'll get to hear about it. Really fascinating person. She lives in Telluride. How do we get somebody of this caliber to our event? Well, because one of our members knows people and does things. Kelvin has done so much in terms of international service and Montrose service. He's an outstanding Rotarian also. But we're very excited to have Hillary coming and speaking. And if for no other reason, it's worth the cost of admission to come hear Hillary Nelson speak.
Yes, and the Stone House is catering it. I hear the meals are going to be exquisite. And you have Neon Sky coming to play. So at the end of all this, people can dance and hang out.
It is a celebration. We're going to have fun at the end of the evening after we do some serious things. Like I say, we'll stick around And I think you like to dance, right?
I love to dance. I can't.
Okay.
I don't dance well, but it's going to be fun.
That's right. That's right.
Well, come on out. Help us raise funds for Habitat for Humanity. Celebrate 100 years of service right here in Montrose, and honor some amazing people in this community. Can we talk about that a bit? Are you handing out special awards?
Yes, we're going to honor several of our past presidents.
Okay.
One of the things that our club does is we provide scholarships for college and secondary kind of education every year, and we bring Montrose high school students and give them a scholarship. We're going to name those scholarships after several of our outstanding members who have passed over the last several years. Right. So Dennis DeVore, Gary Krabby, and Rich Tafoya. I'm sure many people in the audience will know those names. They're outstanding men who did a lot for the community, and we're just pleased to be able to honor them. We have several of our club members who will be honored for making major donations to the International Rotary Foundation.
Okay.
That does work all over the world. And so, yeah, we have some exciting things to do that evening, and people to honor in the community.
Well, it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. Ross Turner, thank you so much for coming out to Montrose Matters Live.
Thank you for giving us an opportunity to talk about the club.
You are very welcome. And thank you again to the real estate store, Elevate Fiber, River Valley Family Health Center, and Alpine Bank for underwriting Montrose Matters Live. Make it a great day.